There's kind of a neat realization or resonance or something that came to me while I was working today. Um, what I really like about this, and it really parallels an experience I had about 7 years ago, doing a workshop at Lee Valley Tools on making paddles, like a canoe paddle out of cherry wood. And what I really liked, well, number one, the lack of having to use a machine. So all handmade. We used a little spoke shave, which is kind of a little, I'm just using this, it's kind of a thing like this, and you just slowly slide and take little shavings off of this piece of wood until you bring it down to a really thin level of a canoe paddle. So what I enjoyed about it was I at least found what I needed to do, and I adapted really well to it because I do this with my tattooing. I had to work between the function, because the canoe paddle had a very specific function, and the form, and in my case, seeing the beauty in it. So you couldn't lean too much toward, like, you couldn't just go for beauty and then it didn't have any function. I mean, you could if you just stuck it on a wall, but it wasn't really a canoe paddle. It looked like one. So it had to have the function. But then there's other canoe paddles that function, but I don't find necessarily beautiful. So it was really a great discipline to work right between the two. I do this a lot with tattooing, working with negative and positive space, and shifting into this place where you're not looking at the negative space, the positive space. You ever seen those pieces of art from way back? And I wish I could say a name of an artist, but they're usually drawings, sometimes paintings, where you look at it one way and you see like an old lady, and then you blink your eyes and then you see something else, and then usually if you're only seeing one thing, if you see the other, then you can't not see the other. So that shift, it's the same image, same work, but your mind shifts, your whole perspective shifts. This I am finding is what's great about this exercise. You have to work between two frequencies or perceptions, perspectives, and what I find happens is it opens a portal. If you can work on that discipline, and it's in many ways, this is just one that I'm finding. If you can work with that, and I'm sure people do it with meditation of other sorts, this is a meditation, but more traditional, sitting down, cross-legged kind of meditation, which I can in no way say that I'm really proficient in, but I have done a good handful of 10-day Vipassana retreats to get a taste of it. And along in conjunction with everything else that I do. So I'm finding it extremely powerful, extremely beneficial, extremely transformational, especially now during this time. And maybe if I could be so bold as to suggest other people have a little, think about this and have a little play around with some exercise that can do this for them, and let me know. Are they finding the same thing? I find it's helping me work with the frequencies, the challenges that we have today, but also it's helping me shift from, in a really blunt sense, from the glass is half full to the glass is half empty kind of thing. It's a real cliche, but there are ways through this, and I feel that the world en masse is just banging their head against a wall over and over again, and the idea is, with most people's understanding or lack of understanding, is, well, keep just banging against the wall. At some point I'm going to go through it, and I don't think it's going to happen. Or at least you might go through the wall, but it's not going to answer the issue that came up in the beginning. So I'm just getting a feeling, and it's not a full realization of any sort. It's just I'm feeling an invitation as I work on this towards this direction of maybe we're in a shadow reflection of a reality that is way more than this, And this whole thing is a great opportunity, if you take it, to start working on a way of refining things. And maybe it's just a temporal shift, I don't know. And that's it. I really can't say, but I'm touching on something and I'm feeling it. And I think that maybe others that might grok what I'm saying can give me some feedback and take it to the next step. And then someone else might get that and take it, if we can share ideas. There's something there that shouldn't be ignored. And I really think that on a large scale, the world is missing something. But at the same time is knowing something. That, there's something calling to us to move inwards and into another parallel way of perceiving or something. So once again, my totally engrossing exercise here that I'm doing, I'm creating some contours here. I'm just working on beauty and function. So I'm really enjoying, for example, this little curve here and the contours, but it's not just for the sake of beauty. It has to, my hand has to feel really comfortable holding on to this. And here's where the trigger is going to be. So that finger is the trigger finger. See, we have all these words. Everyone knows these words, but no one ever really knows where they, or feels, not knows where they come from, but embodies them. So I'm embodying this idea right now. I've added a piece on here because I found it too short, but also I've cut this down, so my hand might have been up here. Now it's come into here, therefore I added another piece. One finger will be here. Now I'm working on contours in here that are just absolutely, to me, beautiful as I develop them. Once I've got all my contours and I just love the whole flow of everything, then I'll start working on decorative patterning. And then on here, I've got some other plans, which I'll just leave that for a surprise for another day. But I would really, really love people's feedback. Those that feel drawn to something that I'm saying and they get something that's coming to them or something they're working on that brings it forth. Because I think that's the only way we're going to get through this, rather than just beating ourselves up over it. Thank you, everybody. Happy winter solstice and Christmas holidays.